Calling this meeting to order, Monday, August 26th at 6 p.m. Crosby, do a roll call, please.
Mike.
Here.
Jake.
Here.
Gail. Here. Dale.
Here.
Eric.
Here.
Vito.
Here.
Carolyn. Here. Craig.
Here.
Crosby here.
Thank you. This is an open meeting. It has been posted. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, we're going to move on down. Do we have any citizens' comments? No citizens' comments. So we are going to go to consent agenda. We're looking for the approval of committee of the whole meeting minutes of August 12th, 2024, and the special board meeting minutes of August 19th, 2024, and approval of vouchers and receipts. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, that is approved by consent. And we are going to slide down all the way down to action items. First up is hires, retirements, and resignations.
All right, we have the following contracts that were offered for this upcoming school year. Annalise Glaw, who is physics at Mukwonago High School. Anna Hood, chemistry at Mukwonago High School. Eric Hubner, who is on a limited term, physical education. It's a .2, so he's there for 2 days a week for half days at Eagleville Elementary School. Carla Magdalene, who is a Title I teacher at Parkview Elementary School. That is also a limited term contract. Julie Rice, a limited term biology teacher at Mukwonago High School. Diane Pollock, Title I, also a limited term at Parkview Elementary School. And then Lisa Smith, a speech and language pathologist at Big Bend Elementary School. We don't have any changes. And then we have the following resignations. Mark Matinaire, biology teacher at Mukwonago High School. And then Hannah Schneider, a chemistry teacher at Mukwonago High School.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve these hires and resignations.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving on down to the preliminary budget.
I think I got this. Yeah, this mic's on. Okay, the preliminary budget, we've introduced this in July. We've talked about this on August 12th. We're just, it's on the screen here right now. So this, is, again, is our preliminary budget. For presentation at the annual meeting, everything is balanced. We're looking for somebody to make a motion in a second here to accept this as our...
I'd like to make a motion. We accept the preliminary budget.
Second. We have a motion and a second to accept the preliminary budget. Any questions or comments?
I just have one question. Tom,
Yes.
There's been a lot of talk about the MPS referendum and how that, has that affected our budget in any way?
Good question. Last year, it negatively affected us here. So what I'm doing right now, and I'm going to make this a lot bigger here for a second here. So I'm going to our revenues, all right? And, all right, so there's two things, and I'm going to... Greg, need your microphone.
Yep. A district our size, we should really look into something like that.
All right. Budget's tight, Craig. Come on. All right. So when we do our mathematics of our revenue limit, we take our $11,000 we get per student, we multiply that by our third Friday count, and that defines basically 85% of our budget. Of those two things that go into 85%, we have the local property tax. So 11,000 times the number of students, whatever that math is, it's going to be the local property tax. And then we're going to add to that then the other part is going to be, if I go down to the 600s, we had this big number, $28.5 million. That is equalization aid. So first off, we do our math. We figure out how much money we have to work with. That's our operating budget. The state says, here's how much aid we're going to contribute towards that. And then the rest goes to the property taxes. When a school district like MPS is positively aided at the tertiary level, the more they spend, the more aid that they get. So we are negatively aided at the tertiary level because our property values are higher than average. They're higher than the state average. So when your property values on a per student basis are higher than average, you are negatively aided, which means when you spend to a certain threshold and you start to exceed that threshold, you start to shrink your aid. When a district like MPS, who is what we'd say is property poor on a per student basis, the more they spend, the bigger this number gets. So in essence, a district like MPS, when they make their equalization aid number really big, it takes away from everybody else. I don't think we have an issue at this time, so I'm not raising any alarms, but as they move forward into the following year, what I'd like to see our legislators do is put enough aid into the pot so the effect of MPS does not affect others. They can evaporate that, and they have the resources to do that, in my opinion. They have a big surplus at the state. When they do the biennial budget, the amount of money that goes into K-12 is the biggest share. And really, of that pot is really the most money is going into equalization aid or general aid. It's one and the same. So nothing, no alarms, nothing to worry about at this time.
So we're in year 2 right now, right? We're going into year 2 of the biennial budget?
Yep, so.
Now's the time to lobby our legislators.
That's right, call them up.
For the next year?
Do you know any?
I know a few.
Call them up, invite them, bring them out here. Now's the time to start thinking about as funny as this is we're trying to get the 24-25 budget launched, and we're just about there. Then we turn our attention to 25-26, where it's time. So yeah, the next biennial budget will be important to us.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Tom? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary budget. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving on to number 3, preliminary tax levy.
All right, so kind of hand in glove here. These two kind of go together, but you're free to adopt one but not the other. But our preliminary tax levy here that we're going to present to the community. Again, as we move forward here, there's a big curveball in the tax levy, right? And that's the referendum that we're going to pursue. Absent that, this is the message. This is the tax levy that would occur as we have it planned right now. So what we're doing is that last year's tax levy was $32.4 million. This one would be 32.3 for a decrease, and let me just make this a little bit bigger here for everybody. It'd be a decrease of $162,000, or exactly a 0.5% decrease. With that, we feel really confident that absent a really large reassessment that anybody in the town or the village experience, likely due to an expansion of a garage or an expansion of the house, that this type of decrease in the tax levy would keep most folks without any increase in their tax bill due to a reassessment. That's not universally true, but that's very, very largely true. There are some reassessments, like I said, that might be due to a new garage being built where it's like, yeah, your tax bill will change because of that. But some folks that they're nervous about that 50% increase in fair market value, or their assessed value rather, we can negate a lot of that by having a half a percent decrease. Okay?
Mr. Karthauser, does this keep us in the bottom 10% of the county as far as tax levy, I'm guessing?
So then, if I just scroll down a little bit further, so the mill rate is attached. So it's like, we're going to propose levying $32.3 million. We're assuming a 2% increase in our property values, which it was higher than that. It was about 7%, but we just got that information. But even if it went up 2%, our mill rate then says, what's the intensity? How hard is your tax levy hitting your residents? And we can measure that by the mill rate, and we think that our mill rate is going to be in the bottom 20% of Southeast Wisconsin. So I think this past year we ranked 32nd out of 39 K-12 school districts, so I can't see us moving off that mark. All right, so that's the proposed tax levy.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the tax levy.
Which scenario?
We have a, what's that?
So I'd say the scenario that we have right here,
Down 0.5.
it's the middle scenario that's in there. Yep, it's scenario 2 for the 0.5% decrease. So that's what I'm showing here on the, in the budget booklet. But you're free to choose or do something different. It's your call.
Sorry, that's the scenario that I was looking to it up, sorry.
Scenario 2.
Scenario 2.
Second? All right. We have a motion and a second for the preliminary tax levy option number 2. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving on to hazardous transportation plan.
All right, so we talked about this map. I think it was just time that we adopted this map and refreshed it. So again, this is making sure that we don't have kids who are assigned to their local school, that they are going to cross a road that would require them to walk along a hazardous road. So really, we have county roads identified here by and large. Are there any questions I can answer? Otherwise, we're looking just to adopt this as our updated hazardous transportation map.
I'll make a motion to adopt the hazardous transportation plan.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the hazardous transportation plan. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving on to robotics team lease extension.
So I haven't heard back. I'm waiting to hear back from the building owner here. Do you guys want to take action, and if they approve an 18-month extension at the same rates, would you be agreeable to that? Or do you want to make sure he'll commit to that, and then once he commits, I'll bring that back to you and we can take action later? We have a little flexibility, I guess. There's not a sudden rush by any means, but he hasn't okayed this yet, so I don't know if we want to.
Maybe if we okay it, then he'll okay it too.
We can do that.
I'll make a motion that we okay this.
All right, so
I'll
we're going to go for 18 months at the same terms.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the robotics team lease extension. Any questions or comments?
I have a question. So if we are going to do a preliminary approval of this and he comes back and says no, then do we,
You're giving me action to pursue this.
Okay.
And if I can't finish it, then I come back to you and say, hey, that's a
perfect.
counter offer of sorts, and I'll bring that to you for action potentially on that.
Okay.
Deliver the baby, Tom.
Say no more, Craig.
Any other questions or comments? All right. All those in favor of approving the robotics team lease extension, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Vito, you're coming with, again.
Record time, Tom. Good job.
Here for you guys.
Unfinished business, superintendent's report.
So a few items tonight. First, I just want to remind the board and the community, our September board meeting dates are off of our usual schedule. Our committee of the whole meeting will be on the 23rd of September. And then a week later, on the 30th, starting at 7 p.m., this is a time change, but at 7 p.m., we have our budget hearing, then our annual meeting, and then our board meeting. The reason why we start at 7 p.m. is that statutorily that is in place to give more of our community access to our meeting if need be. So set that out there as a reminder. We are in the final week before school starts. Our buildings and grounds, our IT folks, our principals, our teachers, the coaches, the district team here is in that final push to get things ready to go for when we welcome students back on the 3rd. It is amazing how fast a summer goes. And this is my 23rd year in education. To see the commitment that our teachers have had over the summer to professional development, coaching, advising, curriculum work, it's just an absolutely incredible thing. This room was packed for professional development today in the afternoon. We were able to bring it inside instead of outside, but there were about 60 people in here learning about play work. So really thank everybody who's been in. Remind our community that our fall sports are fully underway. Our activities will pick up once school starts. So come on out and cheer our teams along. Again, that feeling of fall is in the air, and the opportunity to see our kids back on the fields and the courts is something that we truly enjoy.
Yeah, it's
I have a suit on.
and I have
I have a suit on. Yeah.
I thought he said I have a mosquito.
I have seen the bees out. I'll use that as my sign of fall. Just after our meeting last week, just wanted to remind the board, that we approved to go to referendum a week ago. Our core team has met 4 times in a 1 week's time to get ourselves ready to go for tomorrow night's open houses at the schools, where we will begin the informational sharing on the referendum project. We have dates that will be announced, but coming out in September, we will have 2 daytime presentations at Parkview, and then in October, we will be having 2 evenings at Parkview. So we are ready to go. We've had a lot of excitement from members in the community. We've had a lot of good feedback come in so far. Going back to July, and we did a brief update, but WASBO hosted the custodial maintenance conference at MHS. And this is a little bit long of a letter, but I do want to read it because I think it really highlights the work that went into it and the congratulations. So this comes from WASBO. Dear Mukwonago Area School District and Board of Education members, I want to thank you for the outstanding work of your staff contributed to the WASBO Custodial Maintenance Conference on July 24th at MHS. Attendees came throughout the state, about 380 registrants, including attendees from your staff. Exhibitors also greatly appreciated your location, bringing in a total of 43 for the day. Andy Wegner and our staff partnered to develop a curriculum of 35 educational sessions related to school maintenance and operational manners and provided networking opportunities with vendors and participants. They assisted in selecting an expert faculty that delivered practical knowledge and examples of best practices that benefited school districts from all over the state. Richard Whitty from your school district welcomed attendees with his insightful keynote presentation on leadership. Throughout the day, hallways and classrooms were filled with engaged attendees who gained new skills that will help them more effectively serve their children in Wisconsin. Several participants attended the Module 8 classes addressing business and leadership in the WASBO Facilities Manager Certification Program, which is also recognized by the Department of Public Instruction. In addition, your teacher put together an excellent safety room and clean room challenge for attendees to test their skills in identifying hazards and cleaning challenges in a school setting. We're thankful that your district chose to host the conference. Your staff went above and beyond to ensure the success of the conference, especially Andy Wagner and the team working at the Mukwonago Area High School. Your staff at the Mukwonago Area School District are truly outstanding. We thank your nutrition, operations, buildings, and grounds team, as well as the administrative team of the Mukwonago Area School District for hosting this conference and permitting the participation of your staff. Districts throughout the state appreciate your work and leadership. Encloses a donation from WASBO to your district's education foundation to be used as you wish to benefit the staff and students of your district. Thank you for your help in offering a successful conference. Sincerely, Michael Berry, the executive director of WASBO. So they presented us a check for $100 to the Ed Foundation, which we're grateful, very grateful for. We'll send a thank you for that. And then just a special thank you to all those who participated in putting this opportunity together for the state, the business officials and maintenance officials in the school district. So wanted to share that with you as that was a highlight from this summer for our school system.
You went to that, right, Dale? You stopped by?
Yes.
All right.
And it was fantastic. She just kept, the WASBO rep just kept raving about how well it was run,
Yeah.
and she loved our community, the school, everything. So it was pretty cool to hear. All right, I just want to take a moment to thank all the principals. Over the last couple of weeks, I had time to stop in all of our schools, check on our principals, talk with new employees, and as Stephanie Blue would talk about the vibe in the school. It's really cool to feel of it really ramping up. And again, I just want to thank the principals for taking time out to talk to me. So that is all I have, and we're going to move on to executive session, Wisconsin Statute 19.85, considering the employment and promotion and compensation, performance, evaluation, data of public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. And we are also going to be discussing discipline for a specific student situation. So looking for a motion to close the open session and go into closed session.
Make a motion, we move into executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Mike,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Vito, Carolyn,
Yes.
Craig?
Here.
Crosby, yes.
And just a reminder, we are not going to reconvene into open session. We will have nothing to report. Thank you.